everybody. Welcome to Soft Pants Nation. My name is Amanda Duncan, and I am here to party with you and the rest of Facebook and YouTube. This is a place where I want to inspire people to believe in themselves. It's kind of as simple as that. Maybe a little bit more complicated, but I just want people to love themselves and feel productive and achieve things because I know what it's like to have an idea, do that thing, make that idea come to fruition. I just love the way that feels. So, yeah, I'm excited to be here, and I know that in my little lower third, it says that I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm from New Jersey. It doesn't say that, but singer-songwriter, techie geek, lover of baked goods, baker of baked goods, and just I really love people. All people, little tiny babies to super cute and old people. So, and I really think I'm funny. I'm sorry. Okay. The show starts off with one of my original tunes, so I'm going to lower my vocals a little bit before I knock your socks off and add some reverb. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. Every time I see your face, I get so confused. You're giving me the run around. It's make me feel used. I never thought that I would be the kind of girl to beg and plead, but oh. Please, baby, I know, baby, that you, baby, will never see the light of day, dear. And it doesn't matter what I say or what I do. I've got a feeling that I'm getting over you. I'm tired of all these silly games that you always play. It's like some kind of cat and mouse. I know I am the prey. I never thought that I would be begging for your sympathy, but oh. Please, baby, I know, baby, that you, baby, will never see the light of day, dear. And it doesn't matter what I say or what I do. I've got a feeling that I'm getting over you. You got everybody whistling your tune. Well, not me, baby. I'm no fool. Next time it's gonna be me to take you by surprise and tell everybody about your loves. Well, please, baby, I know, baby, that you, baby, will never see the light of day, dear. And it doesn't matter what I say or what I do. I've got a feeling that I'm getting over. Boo, 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 you. I decided to put my guitar stand within actual reach so I didn't have to move a bunch of stuff out of the way. I'm really happy with that new executive producer decision. Ah, okay. Well, for those of you who've been following the show, I do this upcoming segment after I sing my original tune. And here we go. My friend shaker of the week. Okay, this is my friend Lisa Mongillo. Is that how you say it, Lisa? I don't know if you're watching, but if it is, please I'm pretty sure that's how. Hey, JB, how do you say Lisa's name? How do you say Lisa's name? Mongillo. Okay. So I was right. I said Mongillo. So Lisa is an amazing writer. She is a hilarious comedic lyricist, but also I'm sure she writes other serious lyrics too. She works with Joanna on a musical called, it's a very long title, but it's about girls who love horses in high school, and it is a wonderful, uplifting comedy, and I'm excited for the whole world to see it. So anyway, Lisa sent Joanna some photos of a project she did this week, and I said, "Oh my goodness, I want to feature her as Mover and Shaker of the Week." So I'll get into more of what she made, but she said, "I've always loved making my apartments cute and homey, and I've been trying extra to do that with the place that I moved into in August because COVID means I spend a lot more time inside, which that means for most of us too. I've been looking at a wooden bookcase for weeks, but couldn't find anything new or in stock that I liked in my price range. So last week I bought a used one and made a plan to refinish it. So because the one I got had lots of scratches and scrapes, I knew painting it was the best choice. After scrolling through all the images I saved in my Insta quote unquote interior aesthetic folder, I chose a slightly greenish blue color that would be fun but soothing. I like that description, Lisa. I looked up some articles and watched some YouTube videos on what to do to refinish wood. Then went to my local hardware store, in parentheses. I love the people there. They helped me many times in the past couple months. Collected the paint and supplies. I also asked the pro, Joanna Burns, for advice, which she gave. Joanna's really been a very handy pioneer woman this summer due to COVID. So, here we go. I decided to do the whole thing in one day since I don't have a ton of free time. It was tiring and my arms got sore, but it was also kind of cathartic to spend a day just doing something with my hands. I made sure to take a walk outside and look at all the Halloween decorations going up while the primer was drying, which helped break up the process and give me a final push. There are definitely some imperfections if you look closely at the final product, but ultimately I love it and I'm proud that I did it myself. Next, I'm attempting to tackle hanging curtains on my very high up ceiling, my high up windows. Yes, your windows are very high. The curtain rod that you have is that's it's going to be a serious feat, and I look forward. Hey, maybe I'll feature you again once you get those curtains up. So now, on to Lisa's inspirational advice. Inspirational advice on how to move and shake. This is what Lisa said. Don't be intimidated, especially if you are a petite writer without much upper body strength like me. Just find some instructions and adapt them to your situation. Make sure you have the right supplies and take one step at a time. So I think that is pretty good advice, especially for something if you've never tried to do something like that before. So thank you so much, Lisa. Let's look at what you got going on here. Okay. All right. Let me move this a little bit further up. There we go. So that's the before. That's the pre any kind of sanding or anything. And then no, what happened? Oh yo. All right, hold on, guys. I have to add the book to the other bookshelf. What's happening? I'm so sorry, everybody. Technical difficulties at all times, right? Oh, I see. The name changed. Let's see if I can get this. There it is. Woof! I made it through the. So, oh man, how good does that look? That looks so nice. Let's go back. So before, after. Ooh la la. Ooh, I love that so much. Did she paint the bookshelf black? Oh, as far as a primer, I don't know. Lisa, let the people know if you end up stopping by into the Soft Pants Nation tonight. So I don't know. It looks like I wonder if she maybe did blue it for. I guess I don't know. When you prime something with like white or gray, isn't that usually what you do? Anyway, Lisa, good job. I'm very happy that you did this for yourself, and give her some hearts, everybody. Hooray! All right. Actually, I think what I might do just really, really quick, I just want to go into the chatteroo. And I just wanted to. Oh, wait, do I have a YouTube comment? I don't have a YouTube comment. I thought that maybe I would, but nobody really seems to be watching on YouTube till after the fact. Okay, so going back. Okay, so my question of this week is, what project are you going to start this week? I know that a lot of people are thinking about maybe starting something. We're hunkering down. Maybe you want to start a project of cooking a new soup every week for the winter. I don't know. I have a friend who does that. So yeah. Anyway, that's the question. What project are you going to start this week? Let me know. All right, so coming up now, I'm so excited that this interview is happening because this upcoming guest is has been a friend of mine for many many years, and he came out with an album this year, and it's been a tough year for all artists because you know we love to perform. We love to be out and in front of people and connecting with people in the live setting. And I feel like he's actually accomplished a lot of things during the lockdown. And I really feel that he had, there's just different opportunities that he kind of sees. And I was really happy to see him do that. But this is my friend, Arlan Feiles. My headphones so I can hear them into the transition, and I'll have to wait, I'm ready to, I'm almost there. Hello, yay, confetti.
Yay.
All right, so
Woohoo.
I'm a little,
Thanks for having
oh
me
my gosh,
here
I'm
tonight.
so excited. So let me move this up here because I'm actually sitting upright. So Arlan is a singer-songwriter, activist, visionary. I'm not kidding. I do. I think you are a visionary. I think you have created so much music and art over the years, and I guess it sounds funny, but like art of the heart, and that sounds so.
Can you get that? You want to get that nailed down so you can make
Yes,
T-shirts of
yeah.
that. Art from the heart.
Art from the heart. Well, I mean, there's other things that rhyme with that, but I won't go there. Uh, well, mostly because I love to talk about gas, but I won't talk about it on Soft Pants Station tonight. Uh, so, I do have we made a music video together this year. Actually, we filmed it in January, so before everything kind of like blew up, if you will. But I guess let's try to get like a little bit of. I always like to get my audience a little bit of background of my interviewees, and just having you kind of go a little bit back in time and try to give a somewhat quick synopsis of like you're here today. So you've been playing music forever, just like since like you were like jamming in your mom's womb, right? Like you're just like like you were just so you were just like kind of destined to do what you do. So let the audience know.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. It's a long, it's. I'm not sure I can tell the
No,
whole
you don't have
story.
to, but it's just whatever you want to tell.
But yeah, music was a parent in my life. Um, as far as I can remember, I don't have a memory where music didn't play a role. that time. Um, I grew up in Los Angeles. Um, took interest in music quite early. Had my first band when I was 13. Uh, went to the LA County High School for the Arts and graduated as a music major. Went to Berklee School of Music. Ditched out of college early to form a band in Miami, Florida. Um, did a record for Island Records that was never released with
Seems to be a thing
Rock
with
and Roll
seems
Hall
to be a
of Fame
thing with Arlan
producer Tone
records.
Dad. Yeah,
Sorry.
um, it's
Eh,
okay. And moved to New York and married a Jersey girl, and I've been a New Jersey boy for the last almost 20 years. And we live in a state that loves music,
yeah,
and so it's a good place to be if you like to perform and write songs. People like songs
they
here,
do.
uh, or cover
Yes, sure,
songs.
sure.
But they love songs, and original or otherwise. They really take an interest in the art form of
Yes.
songwriting. It's not a huge pop culture, but it is a big song culture.
Yeah, I never really thought about it that way, but it's true. When you because you've traveled around, you know that like certain states, it's weird. Like you'll perform like here. There is a little bit of a saturation of people like, oh yeah, like musicians. But sometimes you go to other states and like, wow, like they're like really listening to me. But then like you hear other artists and like it is the song culture isn't there, right? So just really, having being around other songwriters, I'm like, wow, like these people are good songwriters, and you don't realize it sometimes till you leave home.
So
Yeah.
many.
Okay, so let's dive into a little bit of you had this album that you have come out with, and what was that process like, because you did a lot of it on your own, and I was a little bit of a part of the engineering, a little bit of the record, and just
It's significantly.
well, I don't know about that, but I know that I wanted to be there to cheer you on. Plus, I love engineering records. I don't really get to do enough.
You helped me get you. You actually helped me get finished the part that I could not do alone. I was determined to get this record
Right.
out. What we're talking about is my latest record, What Kind of World. Um, I released it. It came out just before the New Year in Europe. It charted on the Euro Americana chart there for 4 months,
So cool.
and then we were breaking it in the United States. And the week that I began my radio campaign, COVID hit and hit hard, and within days, everything was shut down, including all the public radio stations and all the college radio
Yeah.
stations, and anybody and everybody who would have played my record at that time. Um, so we were faced with the daunting task of trying to figure out how to move forward uh, with the record. But just getting that record done, um, uh, you were a huge part of capturing a very important element that I just couldn't do alone. And sometimes you need to reach out to people to get you across the
Yeah,
finish
it's
line.
totally true.
Um, you could run a marathon, and that last 10 steps is the absolute
Right.
hardest. And you look across, you look around, you're looking for support, you're looking for anybody cheering you on, and you connect with them, and that power of support is enough to get you over.
Right.
And you were one of those people in this project. So thank
No,
you.
you don't have to keep going on about how great I am. I'm just kidding. No, no.
But the important part of that is that when you're trying to accomplish
Yeah.
something, and and you don't have resource, and you don't have um, anything but yourself,
Right.
really. I mean, self-reliance obviously is a critical thing in accomplishing anything. Um, but to get over that finish line, sometimes it's important to lift your
Yeah.
head and look around and see who's there cheering you on. See who wants to be available to you,
Right.
and not being too proud or um, shy or not wanting to ask,
That's always a
because
thing,
you'd
right?
be amazed how little it can take.
Yeah.
It can take so little. Sometimes it's just validation.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
other times it's just a little bit of extra cash that you have to invest in yourself
Yep.
in. But you know, I think that's an important
So when
part of.
you had these songs, right? You had, you how many records do you have so far?
Um, I guess I think there's 8 official releases.
Okay. So I mean that's a significant amount of releases if you think about it. Most people only have like a couple like that. Like I only have a few things out. But but you have, like you were talking about, like self-reliant. See, that's, I don't think that's the word, but you're being self-reliant, and you know how to produce stuff. You're an engineer. You've done a lot of work with like virtual instruments, and I know that. So you had, how long have you did it take you to write these songs, like all these songs? How many songs are on the record?
Actually, this record actually had probably some of my fewest songs. Is it 9? It's like 10 or
Okay,
11 or
sure,
10.
that's okay. I
Maybe.
don't. I just wanted, so you don't have to give me the
Yeah,
exact number.
normally it was like I had to have 12 or 13, but I think I did less. Um, before this record started out with a whole different intention, but you kind of follow the art.
Right.
As you're creating things, you're like, oh, wait a minute, maybe I should be, you know, paying attention to what I'm telling
Right.
myself, you know. And this record started out as this whole like live band, my
Yeah.
band, the guys I've been playing with, all the things. And then suddenly my bass player moved to California. And then at the time, and then my other bass player was coming in, my old bass player, Dan Green, who I've been playing, he was coming back in. And then COVID
Mhm.
happened. And obviously that's much later, but, things get in the
Right.
way, life gets in the way. And so, I got tired of waiting till, we can all get together on the same day and all those things. And I just started focusing on producing an album that didn't require me having to wait around for anybody.
Right.
I wanted to move along. It's always like that. That's been the one thing, like time. Um, I probably could have released 12 records in this time period.
Yeah.
Um, or
Right.
13. I have the material, but so many times I just, time passes, and the next thing you're really motivated and connected to a whole other process and a whole other group of
Right.
songs. And you're like, well, shit, I wish I had released that last record, but I didn't even get it
Right.
recorded. But I need to move forward. I can't sit on those songs
Right.
for my whole life. So I moved forward and I started just putting everything together. I invested in a wonderful library of virtual instruments, as you said, and I started building these tracks. And what's surprisingly amazing is that the technology is so advanced that if you write the right part for a horn or a fiddle or a bass or a drum, that people will buy into your virtual musician
Yeah.
or your virtual instrument. Now, I did play all the melodies and all the rhythms and all.
You
I
wrote the
don't think there's
parts.
one. Yeah, I don't think there's one real drum track on the entire
No.
record,
Drums sound
and
so good.
I did have to play them, but more
Right.
like this on the keyboard, not like you know. It,
But you wrote,
And look, not that I can't. I could have played it on the drums, but what I didn't have the time was to sit for, you know, all those hours engineering myself behind the
uh
drums,
it's a
and
nightmare. It's a nightmare.
what I found is if I can keep everything on the grid and in MIDI, that I can change the key at some point as I'm developing these songs. I could change the tempo. I could change the whole sound. I could be more creative because I wasn't stuck with the instrument that I actually recorded with.
Right.
Now we went back and we recorded some real piano because some of the songs just demanded it. And that
Yeah.
was part of the the way it was performed, and you helped me with that, and that was great. And I brought in obviously background singers. You can't recreate.
Yeah. There's no
So
virtual. I'm
Leon
sure
Hall.
eventually they will have them. They will have
Le-
virtual singers, which will
yeah,
be
yeah,
crazy, but not
yeah,
yet.
it'll be weird. It'll be too weird. Leon and Terra Dente and
Oh yeah.
who else sang on this record? There was a few more other contributions. Forgive me,
That's
Elias,
a
Elena, um, and a pedal steel player I brought in, and so a few instruments that you just can't still quite create, I think, satisfactorily.
yeah.
Um, and I got it done, and
Yeah,
I
you
finished
did.
it.
You did.
And waiting for everybody else to be ready to do what I'm trying to do now was such a frustrating uh, position to take. And I just decided that that was not tenable, and that what was important is that I was sharing my songs with the listener.
Right.
And, I wasn't making the record for me. Because if I was making the record for me, I'd still be making that record.
Yeah. Yes, I know what you mean.
Because no, I'm not satisfied with the final result, nor have I ever been with any
N-
record I've ever
no.
made.
Nope.
But those are also the kind of things that inspire me and inform me when I'm making my next record in
Right.
ways that I can be more productive, and that I can be, and I can deliver more on my intentions. And there's so much you learn by finishing that product, moving
Yes.
on and away from it instead of constantly trying to perfect it
Yeah. Well,
and
it's never going to
making it.
happen.
Well, that's the thing, because once you're done, you've grown, and you look back and you go, "Oh, I could do so much better." I
Yes.
mean, you could do that infinitely.
Yes.
There's no end to that as an artist. I mean, if you're not looking back at your last record and going, you know, God, I can't believe, like
Yeah.
I've I've got to do better. Well, of course you're going to be dissatisfied.
Right.
Because none of us are perfect. None of us, and those who strive for perfection will never be satisfied.
Nope.
Um,
And a
so
lot of times I think for me it's like, with the perfectionism part of my brain, it's, oh cool, it's got to be the best, and it's got to be like mixed in this way and mastered in that way, and it's like everything's like weighing on this big thing, and then in the end it takes like so long to release, cuz I still haven't released my record that I raised money for like forever ago, right?
it's
So
time. It's time.
no, yeah, and well, it's funny cuz I had all these plans, right? This year, this whole summer, I thought I was going to be making music videos with my band, and obviously, we all know how that went. But now the camera that I am using as my webcam, and I have all these different things. Me and Joanna on the weekends, we've been practicing like different filming techniques for a couple of the songs that I'm going to be making music videos for. But we're not like overcomplicating. We just have to get used to the equipment. But I'm just saying, okay, you know what? We're going to do this. We're going to practice a little bit, and we're not going to make it this huge Broadway production. It's just going to be a thing. The video equipment is very good. I saved up for a long time for it. And now I'm just trying to get like, my legs with it, but and actually speaking of music videos, because I've gotten to, sharpen my teeth, if you will, on other people's music videos, and I've gotten to make the mistakes on, on other people's music videos. And now I guess like the way I kind of feel about it, it's like kind of my turn to start creating these things for myself. But I want to talk about your music video, that because
Yeah.
this song is on, if I was a dinosaur, if I were a dinosaur, right?
If
I was
I,
gonna.
it's if the title is "If I Were," because it sounds weird to say "if I was a dinosaur,"
Right.
but I do believe I say both
Right.
in different parts of the song.
Right.
But I do call it "If I Were a Dinosaur,"
Okay.
because if I was a dinosaur, see, it's a totally
Yeah,
different.
yeah, yeah. Okay. So we had I want to like kind of clue in before we talk what before I show the actual full length of the video. uh you were we knew we wanted to work on a music video together. I actually helped track the piano for this tune because you were kind of like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm gonna put real piano. I'm like, dude, you need like real piano on this track. And so I kind of like push you to do it. And I mean the track sounds so good. And I just loved it from the moment. I always loved it, even when during your live performances. So when I was hearing it in the studio, I was really excited about it. So when we were brainstorming, it was me, you, and Carmen. How do you say Carmen's last name?
Stefani.
Okay, so Carmen. So the three of us. so so the three of us were, in the video. He did the illustrations, and I didn't really the hardest part of the whole video for me was the actual animating of the characters, because I've really never done any kind of character animation. So
I mean, the whole entire the entire endeavor was such a push forward for everybody
yes,
involved, and turned out to be much broader and incredible than I could have actually imagined. And Carmen, obviously, with his illustrations, really kind of set us in a direction that you took and really brought the whole thing to life. And who would have ever thought that I'd get to be doing a video with I think of like Fred Astaire dancing with Jerry the cat, or is it
yeah,
Jerry? Yes. I'm like, that's like what we did was an incredible feat. And what to relate to what we were talking about before is that, like, when you making these videos for people, you don't have the luxury of putting it off and off. You
right,
have to complete it.
right,
And no, you are never going to be 100% satisfied with
right,
what you deliver,
right,
because you know that there's more, and your vision is so strong and broad that it's beyond your time and the money and
yes,
and all these things, but you still have to deliver something to
yes,
your
it's
client.
true.
And so um
And I don't have that for
to,
myself, right? Like, I don't I'm
right,
not that
no,
pressure's
but
not
that's
on me.
but you that's the whole challenge. We allow ourselves all the time in the whole world.
Yes.
We have to. I tell my friends all the time, so many, you're not the only one. So many artists that have put together a collection of songs that they've recorded, that are great, or they have photographs that they've been putting in, folders on their computer for years, and or paintings or
Right.
whatever. And you just want to go, it's time to
Yes.
have your showing. It's time to release your record.
Yep.
You know, you have to, you're cheating people. I worked with a young artist, I'm not going to mention his name, but we were making a record that I was producing,
Mhm.
and I had a big vision for his record. I really wanted to reach a bunch of people. He was wanted it to be more artsy and more whatever. Fine, I get it as an artist. That's
Sure.
what I try to do, um, and but I failed at it for a long time. Anyway, so I wanted to make sure that his record was really ready to be listed for radio and all this stuff. He decided that he wanted to go a different way. We were literally down to final
Oh.
mixes before this record was going to be going to print, and he walked away from the entire project. And had he released a record even within a year of that time, I would have been like, good for, you know
Right.
what? It's been 4 or 5 years,
Ugh.
no record.
Right.
And guess what? He didn't have to love the
Right.
record we made together. He just had to get it done and get it out, because you know what? It was a fantastic record. And 5 years later, he still has not released an album to his fans.
Mm. Well,
That's criminal.
yeah.
Back to your
No,
video.
no, no. Yeah. So but I mean, really, because it is that perfection slash. But I really want it to be this way, and it's really a lot the saying something is better than nothing, and done is better than perfect. Like, it really does hold true, right? So it's I think that
You hold
be,
yourself at the highest esteem and you try your hardest, you're
right,
going to accomplish something that people, you know, are going to admire.
right. And
And
people
it's
want to follow a
not
journey. You know, they want to.
lofty sensibilities,
Right,
but you've already reached that lofty place by committing to the process.
right,
But that final decision to wrap it up.
right. You're so right. Like this is like such a good conversation for me to have right now because like I have like these visions and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that and just really in the end it's like whoa whoa whoa.
Do it on
Let's
the next one.
yeah, just like
Get this
break it.
one done. By the time
Yeah,
this comes out, you're going to be so separated. You're going to be so distanced from the
yeah.
project. What
And
do
then
you? And then you're going to go out and tour it for 6 months, a year.
no. No. Right, like, yeah, like any of us are going anywhere right now, but,
Well, that's the
um right, so but I wanna show everyone the video, and I wanna talk about what we first envisioned for it, and then and here it is for, like and, like, I wanna kinda talk about that afterwards, and then I'm gonna show people part of the process of how I did some of the
cool.
post-production. So let's show them the video. Uh No, not gonna go. Hold on. Good thing I have my mouse here.
If I was a dinosaur, we wouldn't have to strike no more. Setting up a felony score, knocking off the company store. And if I was a dinosaur, I could bear the weight of the world. If I was an elephant, I'll tell you where the money went. Every dime and every cent, all went to the government. And if I was a dinosaur, I could bear the weight of the world. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, hell yeah. Had my chance, had my day. If I was a porcupine, I'd smoke the weed and drink all the wine. I got something fine and something dry, and I'll be getting wasted most of the time. But if I was a dinosaur, I could bear the weight of the world. Oh, whoa, whoa. Oh, hell yeah. Had my chance, had my day, had my day, had my day, yeah, yeah, yeah. If I was a man of war, we wouldn't have to fight no more. We could simply settle the score. Everybody singing no war no more. And if I was a dinosaur, I could bear the weight of the world. Oh, if I were a dinosaur, I could bear the weight of the world. Oh, if I was a dinosaur, I could bear the weight of the world. Oh.
Hooray! Confetti. So yeah, actually, it was funny because while the video was playing, Arlan was asking me questions, and he was saying that he was like the more he watches it, the more things that he kind of notices about the video, and how during the part, and I don't know if you uploaded this video up to Facebook yet, but you totally should, because I want to share. It's like that out as a speaking from algorithmic nerdy stuff, where it helps the algorithm when you share a video that's uploaded to Facebook on Facebook, because they don't want you to leave to go to YouTube. So, and not that I won't share it on YouTube, I totally will. But let me know when you do that, because I'll share it tomorrow if you have the time, or this upcoming week.
Oh yeah, I'll put it up.
So, when we first talked about this concept for this video, first it was just going to be like kind of you at the piano, and then it was going to go into a kind of like cartoon world, in a sense where like it was just going to be a plain color background. So it'd be like, let's say like yellow, and then the words were going to animate, and then it was going to go back to you at times when like you were just kind of playing piano, and then just cartoon world, you real life, cartoon world, real life. So it ended up being that my cousin Susan said, I love it, it's such a fun song and video. Thank you, Susan.
Oh, good. Thank you.
So and I agree. So then you showed up to the shoot. That was shot at the Strand Theater, which is actually where you had your virtual release party, which was stunningly beautiful. Like, I love the whole production of it. Like, I thought it was
Oh, you saw it?
Yes, it was. Well, of course I did. It was amazing, and I was so happy that I got to see it. And if you can, feel free, like eventually when we hang up on this chat, if you want to put a link to that, because that's on Facebook, right? You can put a link to the video in the chat. But but then you showed up like, oh, I have all these outfits I was thinking about dressing up in for each character, and I was like, oh, well, that's not what we, in my brain I'm thinking, well, that's not what we talked about, right? And so I was thinking, oh, okay, well, all right, well, let's just film it, just because, right? You have brought all this stuff, I don't mind like shooting this extra footage, whatever. And then it was kind of like this
surprise.
Yeah, no, but in the end it was okay, because I'm thinking, how can I make this work, right? Like, how can I it was like, because I like the footage, I like how it came out, and how could I meld it into the concept that we already came up with. So then it kind of became like this whole like kind of like Who Framed Roger Rabbit like cartoon characters inside the frame. And so I want to go into the actual, like, I want to show people the process, and this will be fun for you because you're not going to be able to see what I'm talking about right now, but it'll be fun for you to watch the replay so you can see what everybody's seeing. So okay, so here we have, this is what the original footage looked like. So, all right, so here you have, like, it's not colored at all. Like, I didn't, like, there's no, it's just, like, plain old raw footage, okay? And then I added this visual effect on top of it, so it kind of gave it, like, a little bit more, less of a, sort of like a DSLR look. I didn't want that anymore, so I kind of, like, darkened it up. And then, so as you can see, there's no smoke in here right now at all. So then what's this? Oh, so that's a little bit of smoke, right? It's floating around. I will move it around here. And I had to map the camera movement so I could connect the smoke to that, so it moved around with the camera movement. Otherwise, if it was just like this overlaid smoke that just kind of stayed there, it would have been weird looking. Then I added even more smoke. So here you go, like that smoke is moving in there. And then here I think we have the porcupine, right? So he's there. But in order for it to give a little bit more of a realistic look, I gave his feet a reflection on top of the piano, and then I gave him a little bit of like back kind of glow. So I'll just do that one more time. So yeah, so you can see his feet are kind of reflecting on, see this foot lift up, and then there's a little reflection on the piano, and you see where that's happening. But then what's next? Okay, so then I added the lyrics, but I also had to add extra cigarette smoke to his cigarette. So it's this layer of actual like smoke in the background. There's two different layers of smoke, and then there's a little thin layer of smoke coming from his cigarette, and that follows the tip of his cigarette. And so I wanted to kind of do this with the actual water footage too, because the water footage, Arlan was saying how he was wondering about there was one part where his face kind of goes in the water, and then there's bubbles, and I'm like, yes, like so I was trying to make sure that that was part of it, like where, because if you watch when I share the video again on later down the road for all of you, and you guys can go watch this on YouTube as well, it's up there. So if you just look up Arlan Feiles, If I Were a Dinosaur, and he punches the water, and like the sign comes up out of the water, and there's splashes for all those things, and then there's some bubble movement happening, and then even with the dinosaur, there's a part where like money falls, and I like getting that to work was tough too, because it was all these different ways I had to kind of, everything's like makeshift. It's like, all right, like how do I get this money to fall and be a clear background, and people, it was just like there was a lot of fun puzzles to solve in this video. And like every music video, definitely they always have some kind of puzzle I have to solve, and there was a lot of fun things that I was to like, I worked on this tirelessly for like a couple months, just like sitting on this couch and trying to think about like how can I do this, and like also just like mapping, like I had to like map each little clip of the camera movement, because you'll see when I'll kind of move this again, you can see that the words are moving with the camera movement. And if it just kind of overlaid, it wouldn't feel like it was inside of the footage. And that's really what I wanted. So I'm just going to I'm going to go back to our regular interview scene. But yeah, so that'll be fun for Arlan for you to watch, because I've never even showed you that. So it's pretty exciting.
No, that's cool. And also for the record, see, I don't smoke cigarettes at all. So you had to create the smoke.
Yeah, well, like the smoke was like, there was a little bit of smoke, but like what people don't realize, now that I've been trying to do some special effects along the way in my life, because now I'm trying to learn 3D room modeling, so I can literally put myself into fancy rooms that I can't film myself in because I can't go anywhere. So I've been
Right.
so later on, for those of you who are watching, stay tuned, because I want to show you I'm dipping my toe into the 3D modeling world, and I started modeling a 3D donut. So it's not a room, not yet, but but again, that self-reliant thing for me has always been big. That's why like I have this whole production here of plus I really like it. I like learning things, and part of you having these virtual instruments, like you've been using virtual instruments and doing things like that for a really long time, even compared to most people. So I think that this record is wonderful. I think it does sound crazy natural for considering that most of it is not real. Like the drums, like you're listening, you're like, oh, those drums sound great. Who played them? And you're like, oh, my fingers. So I think
it's all about good parts. You got to have good parts. The sounds are all there for us to, and picking drums.
Yeah.
That's also a big choice too. When I pull out my drum kit, I have various kick drums and sizes, and snares and sizes, and actually where how hard you hit the key on the piano, it changes the timbre and tone. I mean, the technology is so there. So if you can create a part, people will buy into the sounds. I mean, you just gotta play.
Here's the thing. Also, if you don't have access to those things, but I truly believe that. If I talk a lot in this show about just, if you don't have access to those things, but I truly believe that if you, I talk a lot in this show about just, if you don't have access to those things, but I truly believe that if you, I talk a lot in this show about just, if you don't have access to those things, but I truly believe that if you, I talk a lot in this show about just, if you, I talk a lot in this show about just, taking the time to learn things. And I really feel like, you have this idea, you take the time to learn, or you get a mentor, and then after that you're kind of like scheduling your time and deciding like what do you want to accomplish, and then you share it with the world, right? Like, and then it kind of starts over, like that circle kind of is like a continuum. And that's like is something that I've been coming up with, like this model for like kind of believe in your damn self kind of thing. So uh with that, I always feel like you need some kind of ability to do the things that you want to do, right? Like you can't rely on everybody for everything. And also it's like, all right, you need to have like the basic knowledge of learning of recording. And I know some musicians are like, oh, I don't want to do that, I just want to write songs. It's like, well, sorry to tell you, but we are way past that. Like you need to know how to do this stuff so you can actually engineer a demo. Or because I mean the things for me is like, I think that I engineer most of my own record, and it saved me, and it costs so much money to begin with, but I saved myself a lot of money
Yeah.
because
Now
I
you
had.
just gotta be confident enough to mix and master your own record.
Yes. Yep.
Because you can pay $1,000 somebody to master it. You know what? It's not going to get you any more radio play.
Right. I'm not worried about radio play. But like
No, I'm just saying, like,
right.
it's not going to.
I know you mean.
It's not for your layman who's listening and just enjoying the music.
Yeah.
Trust me, they don't know.
Yes.
They don't care.
Right.
And as long as it's loud enough, which is most of mastering, is making shit loud enough.
Yeah.
Without your EQs going crazy. Obviously,
Right.
you have to have some EQ.
Right.
Or sensitivity, really, not
Right.
even knowledge. You're like, oh, that's too loud.
Yes.
You can mix and master your own album. I mean, I've
Right.
been doing that for years, and
And it sounds great. You know what I mean? And that's the
they're
thing is like
wasting so much money sending their look, and these people do great jobs. I
they
have
do.
some
They
mastering
do.
friends.
They do. Yeah.
That it's an art form in itself. Forgive me, I don't mean to completely dismiss them, but for an independent artist, um, when you're talking about another $1,000 or another $100 a song to mix, and then another $1,000, another 100 to master, that
Yeah.
may be the thing that keeps you from completing your record.
Yeah, you're right. And I think that's after this album for me, that's my next thing. It's like, nope, no more. It's because I came out with a single years ago. It's called "I'm on Fire," and I felt like it was just something like I wrote the song. Once it was done, I said to my band, "We're just gonna record this. We're just gonna like record it together. We're not going to a studio. We're gonna do it ourselves." And I mixed it myself. I didn't get it mastered, but in the end, I just feel like I now have the knowledge to do that. Where it's like in the end, it's like, could it be mixed a little bit better? Sure. But in the end, it served its purpose of a release, right? So just
I've
getting
never
out of.
had anybody mix or master anything I've ever recorded that I didn't share the same dissatisfaction at the end of it as if
Yeah.
I mixed and mastered it myself.
Right. Yeah. Yep. I
You
know
know
what
what I
you're
mean?
talking about.
I'm gonna like some things and I'm gonna dislike some things.
Right.
Every time I've paid someone to do it, I've liked some things and I've disliked some
Right.
things. So you're never gonna be, especially when you hand off the product, whatever comes back is what you paid for.
Right.
There's no guarantee. There's not like, well, can you do this? Can you do that? And the answer is, well, maybe you should do it yourself.
Right.
And that is a good answer. If that is something that is keeping you from finishing, don't let that be an obstacle,
Right.
because it's really it's not a big mystery. It's not like some weird magic. Um, this is not 1978, and your LP has got to have the perfect bass amount, otherwise the needle's going to skip, and then AM radio won't play your single if
Right.
it's too trebly or too much bass. It's not that anymore, because that's
Right.
what those guys used to do. Masterers made careers off making recordings broadcastable
Right.
and deliverable on vinyl or on cassette or on whatever the medium was. They understood what the limitations of vinyl were. They
Right.
understood limitations of AM was. So they weren't making it sound better. They were making it sound compliant with where that stuff was going.
Right.
So these days it's even less consequential because the band has gotten so broad.
Right.
And that our earphones can take as much bass as a subwoofer underneath your desk, on your computer.
Right.
So that being said, there's a lot more freedom to really just create something that sounds right. Because if it sounds good to you, it's not going to sound all that bad to anybody else.
Right. And I think that can kind of be said to any kind of medium in art, right? Like it's the kind of thing that we have so much at our fingertips. And I say this every show. It's like we have YouTube. Remember growing up as a kid and like trying to read instructional books? Like that was awful. It's like I don't want to read all this to try to learn a thing. I still definitely learn some stuff from books, but when you can watch someone in a video teaching you exactly what you're trying to learn, you're like, wow, like this is amazing. And so I think that there's just so many that applies to so many art forms and just so many things in as far as like productivity in life, right? Like it's my friend Lisa who refinished her bookshelf. It's like, oh, she watched a couple videos and said, I can do that, and then she did it. So I think that, and it can be from it's a project that small to a project that feels like it should take a year. It's just doing it. And I think that now that I'm going to release this record single by single for myself, so I can kind of like milk what I did for 5 6 7 years of it, whatever long it took. and but then after that, that's like during the process of this, I will be writing an EP and releasing that like no more waiting, no more. It's just like writing songs and putting them out and having having complete control of what I'm doing. It's like, all right, this is good enough,
I'm far more disappointed that I didn't release more records that I could have than at the product that I did release. Like I don't look back at what I did and I don't see my product as disappointing. What I find disappointing is that I could have released more, but chose not to, or felt confined or unable or limited by resource to get that product out.
Right.
My disappointment is always in what I did not produce and not that my stuff that I did produce wasn't good enough.
Right. It's such, really like words to live by, right? Man.
Why go back and relive your last product? Occasionally every 5 years I'll put an old record and go, oh, it's not too bad.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I did a pretty good job. Okay.
you gotta move forward.
Right.
You gotta, and if you're a visual artist or a photographer, have that showing. I'm an amateur photographer. I just bought some nice photo paper that I can use in my printer that looks like it's like showable.
Yeah.
Like spend a few extra bucks on the paper. Don't wait for somebody to say, "Oh, I'll print it for you." It'll only cost you $10,000 to print these photos so that you can sell them for $400. Right. Go out there. I spent $50 on photo paper. Like really, like these that you can just seize it,
yes,
complete it, and then move on and be motivated and inspired by that completion. And that's you've got to just let it go.
Yes.
And what's funny is I look at my children and I feel this. I want to hold them and mold them, and they're like, "No, you're not quite right yet."
A little harder with people, right? Well, it's really harder.
Of course, they're children, but
right.
Already, I have these things in my brain. I'm like, yeah, I have to also take that to my children and go, you know what? They're just perfect the way they are.
Right.
Right now.
Right.
They're just perfect with all the faults that I conceive, nothing real, like with all my fears, with all my doubts, without my failures of expectation of myself and what I've given them. The truth is that they're perfect, they're beautiful, and they can go. When they're one day, obviously I'm not pushing them out the door like with a record. Um, it's the same thing with a song or a photograph or a painting.
Yes.
You just got to go, you know what? You're just perfect despite me.
Yeah.
And now let people enjoy the joy that you have to offer.
Right.
And then get to the next song.
Right.
You can put that away. Get to the next song. And you know what you bring to that next song? All the dissatisfaction, all the failure, all the frustration that you had to let go of the last
Right.
song. But now you have that richness of experience that you can put directly into that new project and that next step that's
Oof,
going to
you're hitting
elevate
me.
you and
I
make you feel.
feel like clamped. Ugh, that's like make me cry. I'm not kidding. I feel like that's like just so true because it just have like doing something and just moving on and just letting go of whatever that is. But you can take that pain and whatever you had and put it into the next thing and create something that it's just again like creating that cycle of like, because whether it's
Right.
joy, it's like, wow, like I feel proud of the way this came out, and then it's just kind of feeling like, I did a thing, and that's the next song that you write for the next EP, whatever it is. And I think that that, man, what an amazing sentiment as a songwriter. And I think, but again, a lot of what you're saying, Anthony Walker says, inspiring chat, guys. Anthony, thank you for
Oh,
thank you
love it.
for talking about amazing songwriting.
Yeah.
Uh, I just think that apply, like you said, it applies to other things. Like, we have the means now. There's a lot of things that are affordable for us, and also there's ways to create things without any budget at all. And it's like, who decided to make that dot art? It's like, oh, I have only a little bit of paint.
Yeah.
What is it, the pixelism? But I forget what it's called, but it's
In
like,
my, in my 20s, I was releasing records on cassette tape.
yeah,
One
oh
at
my
a time.
gosh,
I'd make them and I'd just sell them at my gigs. I
yeah.
mean, you know what? College, some of my favorite bands have recorded some of the worst quality albums I've heard in my life, including the Beatles and the Who. And, some of the actual quality of these records, if compared to the fidelity of modern music,
Oh
it's,
yeah, our stuff is like a million times better than what they had, like the best studio in the 70s. You know what I mean? Like the pointillism, that's what it
oh,
is.
yeah, this recording system I'm sitting in front of now is far advanced than anything George Martin had to work with, or Tom Dowd, or like anybody like in that time period. I mean, there, it's incredible what
Yes.
we have at our fingertips. What
Yes.
we can't let it do is convince us that we're not taking, not using it to its fullness.
Right.
We have to, you know, use our knowledge base and let it just help us.
Right.
We don't have to come to it. It really actually is so much of it is so intuitive
Right. And I
that
think
it
a
just
part of it too is having it's like, oh, I have this stuff, but so and so, like Arlen has like a real studio. It's like, you know what? No. People are making records uh, in their bedrooms with very, very limited things, that it's like maybe like a $300 setup or less, and they're making records because they have the drive and the creativity to do it. And that's really,
yeah,
and like the drive is a big thing, right? It's like that drive to get it done, and stop with the doubt of like, oh, this isn't going to be good enough because I don't have the best stuff. It's like, no, you have this person, because we see what it's like. We see these young people who are in the Asbury Park scene, and they're just out there doing their thing, and they're like ripping through, and they're just creating so much content, because that's like the name of the game, right? It's like content, content, content. And in the end, they are just making stuff, putting it out, moving on. And that's where, you know, like as we get older, we have these expectations of like what we feel like we should be putting out. And I'm doing it to myself still. It's like, oh my gosh, like what's wrong with me? You know, it's like I should just like make these music videos, and they don't have to be perfect. But and because now it's like I've made other music videos where it's like, okay, you know what, like I can't have a production like that, or I don't have the time to make something that is this way. But now in this, with this camera, I have ability to do slow motion, which is, for most people, I don't know, it's for me, but like I feel like slow motion like makes a music video. You're like, ooh, slow motion. You know, like I don't even have. It's like I could I could have a whole music video of me jumping on a trampoline. It's like, you know, that's it, and it's like means nothing, and it'll be a good video. You know, so but I love this conversation. I love you. You're such a good, kind, wonderful person, and very giving of spirit. So I'm so happy that you did this. I know it was like a little. I always ask my guests like so last minute. One day I will be ahead of schedule, everybody, but I was remotely prepared for this episode as well. So for all of you watching, I can't thank you enough for lending your ears to what Arlan has to say. And Arlan, again, I love you, and I look forward to eventually one day having dinner together again, as
in person.
in person.
I love you. Thank you so much for having me. It's always an incredible joy speaking with you on any matter.
Yes, I agree.
And I miss you. Hopefully, we'll see you soon. And you know, put out the fucking record already.
I will. I promise.
That's my final words to you.
Thank you. You are exactly right, and
because it's gonna be incredible. It's already incredible.
I feel,
just let it be.
Yeah, you are right. You're right. So
Time.
I will. I'm going. I'm very motivated to do it. So it's just more. I got to put myself on a schedule, because this whole show, right? It's like kind of like shit or get off the pot. Like, okay, let's just do it. And again, the perfectionism thing has to just kind of go. There has to be a plan.
So happy to put. You're freeing yourself, yes, and your artistic energy, everything. Like, you're not doing anything because you're trying to finish that fucking thing. Just finish it. Let it go. Yeah. So that you can get on to the most amazing next thing.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
All right.
I'm so glad. I needed this conversation more than you probably know. So good night. Mwah, mwah, mwah. And everybody give Arlan a hand. Yay. And make sure you post the video on Facebook so I can share it this week. Okay.
Okay. I'll try to put it up.
Okay, bye.
All right. Love you.
All right, Arlan, I'm actually gonna. Okay, he hung up on Skype before I did. Okay, so. Oh man. And you know what? I have this show because I'm trying to inspire. Oh, my hair always gets a little bit ratty after I do an interview with headphones on, and I need a pair of headphones that doesn't squeeze my head with my glasses. Oh man, my scalp. You know, just I started the show because I wasn't sure when I was gonna be able to release my record. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna start the show once I release my album, and a whole year later, here I am with this show, and I'm so grateful for this show. But I still don't have this record out, and I've just been holding on to it. And I think I have a legitimate fear of success, which is the thing. It's like, oh, what will happen if I do really well? Things will change. What will happen? You know, I don't know what things will, what those things are, but you know, sometimes getting together with your friends and getting that virtual kick in the butt, I guess these days, is, you know, what a lot of us need. Man. Oh, and the one thing I do want to show you guys, so I again, over the winter, I want to try to create, because actually part of the delay of making these music videos is because I'm so excited for this new creative process of making the videos for myself, is that over the winter I want to try to start doing 3D modeling of rooms and different things like that, because again, I can't go into a studio right now and film, and I could, but I have to protect Joanna, who's self-employed, and it would be hard for her to get unemployment if she were to get sick. So both of us are just so careful, and so I'm trying to just work within these confines. I'm like, all right, well, what can I do to enable myself to make cool things? And with Arlan's video, I feel like I did a good job with my confines, right? It's like, oh, I can't really like animate characters all that well, so they're just gonna kind of stand there. But I can kind of be creative within all the stuff in it. So, I started this past week, and I've been talking about 3D modeling forever, for about 6 months, and this past weekend I finally dove in, and so this is a 3D, the beginnings of a 3D donut. And I started working on the sprinkles last night. I didn't show you in this render, but so this is, I'm really excited about it because I feel like it's really looking like a donut. So the next steps are adding sprinkles and making the dough look more like a fried dough. Oh, I'm so excited. So I'm using this free program. It's a free 3D modeling program called Blender. And the tutorials are also free. So for those of you out there in Nerdland, this is available to you. So both Mac and PC. So I'm really excited about 3D modeling. Wow. So I know in the beginning of the show, I know that the show's running extra long, and I appreciate you guys hanging on. But the one question that I did ask was what project are you going to start this week? And I really want you guys, for any of you still watching or any of you watching in the replay, like really think about what are you going to start. And if you've already started something, please, I want to know that, like, if you already started something, I want to know that you're going to start continuing to do it this weekend, so if you don't have time during the week, I get it, work hours are crazy and then you're tired at the end of the day, but if you have time this weekend, what are you going to continue to do, or what are you going to start up? So feel free to send me a message and let me know, because I want to support you and maybe help you hold yourself accountable to your promises to yourself. Oh man. Okay, well, that was an intense conversation. Am I right? I'm going to have a little sip of water before I sing my last tune. All right. Wow, putting my guitar over here was the best executive producer decision ever. Thank you again for tuning in, everybody. This song is called Get on the Plane. And I actually did start making a music video for this a while back, so I just got to get to it, right? Okay. Get on the plane. Get in the car. I'll do what I have to do to get where you are. Through the rain and snow, I'll find a way to be right next to you on the sunny days. But it always feels like I'm stuck in the middle of nowhere, and we've spoken so little, and the distance between you and me is worlds apart. So pick up the telephone, whoa, 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 whoa. You don't have to be alone, whoa, 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 whoa. Pick up the telephone, whoa, 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 whoa. So if you're feeling all alone, pick up the telephone. I wanna see that candlelight and celebrate another year of your beautiful life. I wanna hold your hand. I wanna make big plans. Summer spent in Montreal and winters in San Fran. But it always feels like I'm coming and a going. The winds of change keep hissing and a blowing. I can never seem to keep my feet on solid ground. So pick up the telephone. Whoa, 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 whoa. You don't have to be alone. Whoa, 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 whoa. Pick up the telephone. Whoa, 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 whoa. So if you're feeling all alone, pick up the telephone. Just hold on a little longer. I'll be there, I promise. Wait for me and pick up the telephone. Whoa, 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 whoa. You don't have to be alone. Whoa, 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 whoa. Pick up the telephone. Whoa, 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 whoa. So if you're feeling all alone, pick up the telephone. Pick up the telephone. Whoa, 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 whoa. You don't have to be alone. Whoa, 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 whoa. Pick up the telephone. Whoa, 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 whoa. So if you're feeling all alone, pick up the telephone. Oh, Susan, you're right. I will show my upcoming shows. Let's do that now. So next week, there's the supposed holiday of whatever that is. But I will be. I try not to do shows on holidays because people are kind of just in holiday mode. So next Tuesday, Soft Pants Nation, again October 19th, which is actually a Monday again. Soft Pants Nation. October 26th is the Halloween special of Soft Pants Nation with special guests. And Joanna has lots of crazy plans, so we'll see if we can accomplish some of those crazy plans before that date. And then I've been actually thinking about the November 2nd date, and I'm kind of on the fence about it. I think I might skip that week. So I will let you guys know, but definitely tune in for October 26th. I think it's going to be really fun and really hilarious, and I'm really looking forward to sharing whatever content we make. Joanna wants to do something with 90210 and reenactment. I don't think that's going to happen, mostly because it doesn't sound very Halloween like, although it does sound like a nightmare to produce. So okay. Everybody, thanks for sticking with me through this long haul here. I know that my camera isn't on, my eyes are not on the upper third here, but again, I just want you guys to know that you do not need anyone's permission to believe in yourself. Just you got to give yourself that permission. So I'm hoping that you're going to be leaving this show. This show is running this is probably the longest show I've ever had. Man, Arlan, you are full of like such amazing insight. I did not want that to end. So again, thank you, Arlan Feiles, and thank you, Lisa, for working so hard on your bookshelf. And if any of you have any cool things going on that you need any kind of motivation for, feel free to send me a message. And Jim, I know you sent me a link of some kind of TED Talk, so I still have to watch it. So I'm sorry I haven't gotten to that today. So everybody, have a great, great, great week. Things are always interesting. So it's hard to kind of remain in super high spirits. But in the end, no one can steal away your creativity and your productivity. You don't let somebody do that to you. It's okay to get derailed, but you got to get back on that train to keep going. So I love you guys. Again, I hope you have a great, 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 great